Meet me in the foyer.
Welcome, welcome, welcome. Thank you for choosing to meet me in the foyer once again. And wouldn't you know it, just like the early bird she is, Linda is already here waiting to guide us through another selection of fresh films for you to choose at the box office this weekend, whilst bird-brained me will be singing like a bird about another classic movie. Plus, we bring you the box office top 10 and the latest cinematic news too. So let's push open the doors and meet me in the foyer for episode 15. Hello, Linda. How are you doing?
I'm very well, thank you. Super busy, tired, but we continue, we carry on. How
Of
are you?
course, we
How are you?
march on. It's a tale as old as time, Beauty and the Beast, I think, told us.
How was
Uh,
your week so far?
oh God, yeah, I'm absolutely shattered. I don't know how I'm going to make it to the end of the week, but
Oh God.
we'll get there. We'll get there.
Wednesday. Yeah.
I know. So, anyways, I started shattered on Monday and have just been dragging my old bones along.
This is why it's really important not to get burnt out when you're doing too much.
Yeah, yeah. Well, the problem
Learn to
is,
say no to things.
I just get so excited for the weekend that I stay up too late, and then
Yeah,
I start Monday more tired than I was on Friday. But
I know I'm the same. I am the same.
it's
Okay.
that it's that chance to just sort of, you know, chill out and watch films as long as you like without having to get to bed and yeah, pay the price. But enough of my first world problems. What are you going to be looking at for us this week, Linda?
I'll be reviewing one of the most highly anticipated movies of the year, which is the new PTA for Thomas Anderson's One Battle After Another, which I leave my reaction to the review. But you
Mm.
guys all know, if you've been listening to us for a while, you know that I'm a huge Paul Thomas Anderson fan, and I don't think he's ever made a bad movie, in my opinion. So we should talk about that later. And then a very odd little sort of um, horror movie, which is part of a very odd franchise. So, and that is the film The Strangers Chapter 2, which is loosely, well, actually, no, attached to the original 2008 movie, that really cold horror movie from 2008. And we've had or we already had chapter one, which was slightly attached to that, and now we're getting the second one, and then this we should be getting a third movie like next year of in the franchise. So, I mean,
Ooh.
from the tone of my voice, you know what I'm going to say. So,
You know, was it don't bury the lead or do bury the lead? You know, let's keep them slightly in suspense. No, that's cool. Brilliant. And yeah, as I say, I'll be doing another classic movie moment later on in the show.
Meet me in the foyer.
But why don't we start with a review? And if it's all right with you, Linda, shall we start with the film I won't be seeing?
uh,
So
yeah,
so
yeah,
unfortunately, despite my advice, Linda's been out talking to strangers again. What have I
yeah.
told you, Linda?
Scripture says, we are all children of the Lord, but he did not build us the same. There are people around you right now with darkness in their hearts. Your friends, your neighbors. Only God sees their true faces.
You're safe. I promise.
This world is infected by evil. And its people are capable of such madness. They may seem innocent, but do not be deceived by the masks they wear.
Is Tamara here?
God, I'm kind of having difficulty sort of comparing this to anything because on paper this really should work because it is because of the source material and because of the original movie, which really much loved by so many people, horror fans, but like bona fide horror fans really think very highly of the 2008 movie. However, this is being turned into something completely different. We're just like a sort of Texas Chainsaw Massacre style, but not quite. So the story, so this picks up from the first movie. So the first movie is about a couple who find themselves alone in a cabin in the woods, classic thing in a sort of a small town in America, and there is a what do you call it, a home invasion in which they must battle to stay alive. And then at the end of the first movie, the boyfriend in the couple is killed, and the young woman Maya, played by Madeleine Petz, it survives. And the second movie picks up with her literally in the next scene. So I think these were all filmed all together, the first and the second and the third. So and the next scene is like she's in hospital getting the help that she needs after being knifed by these masked invaders, and she survives, obviously, but then while she's in hospital, she's left alone for a bit, and then the masked invaders again come back and are chasing her all around town, and it kind of falls into this cat and mouse chase and this kind of like bad decisions where she's obviously she can't get any help from anyone. It's like about like when you're having a dream and you think, thank God that I got away with that, and then in the dream you are still being pursued by something. It's a bit like that. I mean, it wants to give the impression that we are in this like a psychological thriller kind of thing, but the it doesn't have the weight it wants to pretend to have. And I feel like the whole sort of cabin in the woods, the whole Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the Hills Have Eyes, that whole thing has been done to death. And the film strength is probably in like it has a few sort of really good jump scares that sometimes work and sometimes don't really work. But at the same time, I feel like it just you do get bored with it really quickly because there's a relentless chase around town where she doesn't know who to trust, and whenever she trusts someone, that person is taken out by the killers, and I feel like this is just like a placeholder, and the film itself really doesn't really resolve any of the stuff from the first movie. And it's completely pointless. If they really wanted to make a concurrent like continuing story, I think a first and a second would have worked better because we wouldn't have had to sit through 3 movies to find out what's actually going on. It doesn't give anything away. You don't know who these people are. You don't, because as I said, they're all wearing these masks when they are trying to kill her. And then you've got in the middle of all that, there's like glimpses of like childhood trauma, and there's a story about this little girl, and we're trying to work out who this person is and what is her role in the whole thing, and why are these people so angry with everyone, because the story in this is that they have murdered thousands of people every time anyone enters the town. That any foreign outsiders enter the town, they are pursued and then murdered. And so it attempts to give us a reason behind the killing, but at the same time, it just feels like I just want to. You either make this into a proper slasher, or you want to make it into a psychological thriller, and it doesn't work both ways. So I just wanted it to be like pure gore throwaway movie, like a proper B movie. and I was bored. I can't lie, I was bored, and I don't understand how a movie that is so like, and it's like the direction is actually not bad. A movie that is that could have been so much has ended up being so boring and plain, and some good performances, but in the end, I just feel like there isn't much here that we haven't seen before, and there isn't much here that we can't wait to watch. And I think if you are intending to watch these three movies, wait till the third one is out, because you just get frustrated about the fact it's like if you waited all the way to the end of this particular movie and nothing is given away, it's just going to make you mad. So wait for the third one to come out and then watch them one after the other. That's all I have to say, really. I'm not super impressed by it.
Fair enough. I mean, bored watching a horror movie, you sound like me giving a review. I mean, I was just looking at. I knew Renny Harlin's name, the director, and so I've just looked at his filmography, and my, it's quite the stinky list. I mean, Die Hard 2, which is not a good Die Hard in my opinion. I mean, it's not a terrible Die Hard, but no, it's not compared to one. Nightmare on Elm Street 4, The Dream Master, which I think is regarded as one of the worst
Yeah.
in the series. Cutthroat Island, notorious, huge bomb. A slight improvement, I suppose, with Long Kiss Goodnight. And then Deep Blue Sea, which I just personally find an insulting film to watch, as it's compared with Jaws quite ridiculously. But
I like The Long Kiss Goodnight. I think that's a good movie.
Yeah, I have to admit, I've never sat down and watched that one.
Yeah, I like that.
But I know, I've heard good things. So yeah, I'm slightly stunned he still gets the finances to make films, but
Probably self-financed, if anything.
yes, indeed. Well, yeah, so that's the first film this week, which, as Linda says, maybe wait for part 3 and give yourself a big long torturous evening of horror films. But as I didn't think what was it called, completely blanked on The Conjuring. I didn't think that was going to make much money, and that's absolutely stormed it at the box office.
I knew it was going to make money. I knew it was going to storm it. People love, as I said in my review, people love these movies. Like, they've entered like the sort of international or global sort of culture, and people wait for them. And that's the reason why, honestly, they couldn't give a shit about our reviews. They'll make them until they stop selling,
Yep. They're going to keep making them, no doubt. I don't believe this final film nonsense at all. Right, well, that's as I say, that's the first option. Thank you very much, Linda.
Meet me in the foyer.
So why don't we now look at the box office top 10 as we record. It's a slightly odd list this week, which makes it interesting, I suppose.
I haven't looked.
Well, at number 10 is a film. Now, I'm going to murder this pronunciation, but I have looked it up. I'm going to call it Tczowe 3, a Polish comedy, which has made the box office top 10, which is intriguing. I've not heard of Tczowe 1 or 2, but maybe I can jump in here and go back. And at 9, The Sound of Music, 60th anniversary.
Brilliant.
So the cinemas are alive with The Sound of Music. At 8, Inter Alia National Theatre Live. And now we finally head into films I have actually heard of. As, yes, it's still there, don't worry, it's not left us yet. Bad Guys 2 is still in the top 10. 8 weeks now in the top 10, making £13 million.
Absolutely insane that there hasn't been a single animation in all that time. I mean, come on.
Or
what are we doing?
Or this film's actually going to win the Oscar for Best Film at next year's awards. Who knows? At 6, A Big, Bold, Beautiful Journey in its first week on the chart, which to me sounds like a big stinker, actually.
It is a weird old movie. It's a weird old... Actually, I should have reviewed that. today.
Yeah.
It's a weird old movie. I gave it 3 stars when I reviewed it for print, and I think the reason I gave it 3 stars is because I really like Colin Farrell, and what's her name?
Margot Robbie.
And I love Margot Robbie, and I thought they were really good in it, but it is a mess, and it's like made by someone who's really respected. Like the director is American Korean director who's done some fabulous movies in the past, and this is just a mess from start to finish, but it's got sort of aspiration of being this kind of like life affirming story, a bit like The Life of Chuck, very similar movies. It's like affirming stories, kind of like sort of what you call it, dreamy realism, and it's got some sort of, as I say, like philosophical outlook and blah blah. But in the end, it's just all of it. But I wasn't bored watching it, I have to say, because they are so good, those two, that I didn't find it boring. But it's just not quite.
I saw the trailer months ago and immediately thought, I don't think so. It kind of reminded me, I think I've said this before, of the Robin Williams film, What Dreams May Come.
I love that movie. For me, What Dreams Might Come is a movie this movie thinks it's being.
Right.
And I think I was like everyone else, didn't really like it to start with, that movie, and having watched it years later, and after sort of having my own loss, when I think there's some movies you really learn to appreciate as you get older, as life deals you more tragedies, then you'll start understanding the motivation behind those characters. And I know when I first watched it, I wasn't sort of that taken by it. And I'd love to say it could be the same for a big, bold, beautiful journey, whatever it's called. For me, I just found it really pretentious and kind of just all over the place, really, and not as clever as it thinks it wants to, as it thinks it is. Nothing there really.
That's ironic, because I've actually gone the opposite way. I really liked What Dreams May Come when it came out, and I rewatched it last year, and I couldn't stand it at all. I found the performances quite histrionic, and the story quite pretentious. But
I love that, and I also just remind me of like Robin Williams. I watched Bicentennial Man.
Oh yes,
came out, and I absolutely hated it. I'm a big fan of Asimov, but like absolutely hated it. Thought it was really weird and like very cheesy. But the older I've got, the more I've learned to appreciate the movie for what it is, and it's like symbolic sort of place in film history. I think it's a really beautiful movie, and the message behind it is really,
Well, what do I know? I mean, I really like Popeye with Robin Williams.
Popeye is
good. Much derided. So back to the top 10. At 5, The Roses, in its 4th week on the chart, now made, I should say, 8.5 million, which is pretty good. And you can hear Linda's review of that on a previous show. And just above that, The Long Walk, in its 2nd week on the charts. Have
you seen it yet?
I haven't, no. I nearly watched it this weekend. And what did I watch instead? I did watch something new this weekend, and it was... yes, Islands. I watched Islands instead.
Islands is good. Did you like Islands?
I loved Islands. I thought it was great.
Islands is very good.
A nice sort of grown-up thriller. And the funny thing is, I looked up the cast afterwards, and I realised I've seen probably 3 or 4 of each of their films, but I don't remember them in any of those films. So I'll have to rewatch them all and sort of go, oh, there he is, and there she is. Yeah, no, really enjoyed it. Highly recommend it, as you do. At 3, and we go back to the weird ones now. Demon Slayer, Kimetsu no Yabi, Infinity Castle. That's a well-renowned and snappily titled film, apparently based on a Japanese manga comic. And then at 2, the previously mentioned The Conjuring, The Last Rite, which has made 14.9 million, or 15 million if we're rounding up, in its 3 weeks on release, which is remarkable. But it's been kept off the top by masterpiece of cinema, as we all agree, Downton Abbey, the grand finale, which has now reached 10 million in its 2 weeks on release.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to 1930.
My God, what a melody.
He will be a sensation.
Should be on TV. I wish people would stop shoving it out down our throats, because go back and make it into a TV series.
Yeah.
As I say, I'm not to be critical. Actually, I shouldn't really be critical. Anything that brings money into small cinemas and up and down the country, and that they are all,
Oh, absolutely.
cinema at the weekend. So anything that brings people to small cinemas and keeps those cinemas open, I'm all for, even if I don't like the movie.
Although if they were all, if to generalise the audience of Downton Abbey, if they're all going in on senior tickets, they're probably not making that much money off.
No, it's not all seniors that like it.
No, it's true. I'm just being mean.
It's very popular with like a certain demographic.
Absolutely.
Young women from the home counties.
Yes, absolutely right. Right, well, that's the top 10 this week at the box office. As I say, a slightly strange one, but well, I don't want to look too far ahead, but I think it's been a slightly odd September for releases, and I'm already excited for what's coming in October. So yeah, but I won't, as I say, I won't unveil that right now.
Meet me in the foyer.
So why don't we get another review from Linda? And I don't get a minute's peace these days. And here comes another auteur foisting his films upon us. And I tell you, it's just one battle after another with this guy.
Willa! Willa! It's your dad, Willa. I need to find my daughter. You understand that? Me and Willa's mom used to run around and do some real bad.
My dad told me she was a hero.
Willa!
You're in a lose-lose, maybe save your life position.
I swear to God, I will hunt you down and stick a loaded piece of dynamite right up your... Let's do what we do.
You can save that girl.
Let's go!
Leonardo DiCaprio.
Why is this taking so long? For God's sakes, you guys are so incompetent.
One battle after another. Rated R, September 26th.
Linda?
Right, well, it's like Christmas for me, really. I'm a huge Paul Thomas Anderson movie fan, and whenever he releases anything, it genuinely is the highlight of my year. Last saw him with Licorice Pizza.
Oh, okay. That was a few
He
years
takes his time making his movies, but then so yeah, this is his new movie, the last one being Licorice Pizza, which should have done so much better at the awards, but he doesn't really care about awards, as we know, and it's actually quite bizarre to have to see his film getting so much of a push at the moment on social media. And obviously this is being released by Warner Brothers. Licorice Pizza was released by Universal, and so he has changed studios depending on the movie, and I think it's normal that him being such a successful filmmaker, there is a kind of a bidding war on his movies, which is great to see. This is probably the most mental PTA movie I've ever seen, and it's I think his first a collaboration with Leonardo DiCaprio, and the film is inspired or adapted, sort of loosely inspired by a novel called Vineland by Thomas Pynchon. Very popular book about the state of, it's released in 1990, and it's a sort of a socio-political study in America and America's future. And so the film stars Leonardo DiCaprio, Sean Penn, Benicio del Toro, Regina Hall, Tiana Taylor, and Chase Infinity, young and up-and-coming actor. So her actually movie debut, and he's so good at offering people like the first ever movies, and he's done so for so many young actors, but he also obviously works with established names. And in Licorice Pizza, we saw him offer Cooper Hoffman, who is also in the film that we mentioned tonight, which is The Long Walk. Cooper Hoffman, it was his starring very first role, and that launched him into. I mean, he's going to be as successful as his dad. I just know this, anyway, let's take that off, away from let's get away from Licorice Pizza, as much as I love that movie, and I'd love to talk about it all night. This film also features a performance by Alana Haim, who was also in Licorice Pizza. Unfortunately, Alana Haim from the Haim band only features in this very briefly, like I think the first 20 minutes of the movie. The premise is Leonardo DiCaprio plays Bob Ferguson, a washed-up former member of a revolutionary group called the French 75, and Triana Taylor is Perfidia Beverly Hills. These names are insane. Is like a really renowned, well-known revolutionary who shoots first and asks questions later. In the first part of the movie, well, not even the first part of the movie, in the first 20 minutes of the movie, we get like a rough sort of synopsis on what's happened. And so Perfidia and Bob, played by Leonardo DiCaprio, are in a relationship, and she falls pregnant, and then they all get arrested. So in the midst of that, Sean Penn plays Colonel Stephen J. Lockjaw, who is Bob's nemesis, but he's also his love rival, who falls in love with Triana Taylor's character, Perfidia, and he gets everyone arrested. She is pushed to give away all of her mates, and then they all either go into hiding or get arrested or get killed, and that's how we lose some of the people in the first 20 minutes of the movie. Forward 16 years later, Leonardo DiCaprio's character Bob and his daughter are living, played by Chess Infinity, as I say, Willa, are living sort of in the wilderness, off grid, but also they've been living under different names, assumed names, and they get a message one morning saying, you need to run away, go and make the meeting point, because someone has given away your whereabouts. And then the film takes on an absolutely mammoth, like, adventure. It's really hard to describe how absolutely mental this movie is. It is like it's so Bob, for example, runs around the whole of the movie in a dressing gown, like a stripy dressing gown, like straight out of either two different movies really. You can choose, take your pick which movie you want. I associated it more, well, not stories rather than movies, associated it more with Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. Others might go for more Coen Brothers. God, what's it called?
The Big Lebowski.
Big Lebowski. I think there's a bit of both, and I also think Big Lebowski really steals a lot of ideas from the Hitchhiker's Guide. So you've got to choose which one do you think it's paying homage to. Sean Penn is absolutely brilliant. If he doesn't win a Best Supporting Actor for this, I would eat my hat. I'll eat every single hat I have in the house. He is just incredible. It's the best he's been in anything in a very, very, very long time. He plays this kind of like meat-headed right-winger, proper like fascistic army colonel, or who is determined to be signed into this kind of secretive brotherhood, and for them to be able to do that, he has to prove that he's never been with a black woman. So I don't know if I've actually said, but the character of I don't want to give too much away anyway. The child is meant to be like mixed race, and they don't know whether he doesn't know whether he's his child or not, because he's had obviously an affair with her mother, and he must get rid of her, because otherwise this fraternity or brotherhood that he's trying to join, a racist brotherhood, doesn't allow any of their members to racial mixing, basically. This film is just insane, crazy. There are music by Johnny Greenwood, fantastic as ever. Lots of ideas, kind of like nods to the Battle of Algiers. Through the music, we see him actually watching Battle of Algiers. Him being a revolutionary. Obviously, that's the one movie that you want to see. There are nods to sort of whether being a revolutionary is a good thing, is one man's terrorist is another man's revolutionary, is another man's freedom fighter. There are lots of ideas floating around that, and lots of references to what's happening in America now, and specifically to do with La Migra and ICE, and people fleeing from ICE officers. Benicio del Toro plays this kind of all-seeing martial art teacher who is the head of this community in I think it's in, I can't actually remember where it is. I can't remember which area of the state it is, where he's able to move people around to save them from while ICE are coming to get them. I mean, there are loads of references to what's happening in America right now, and I don't know. I mean, they probably started making this absolutely ages ago, and it just happens that all of this is happening now. I just thought this is so good. Some people are going to have a real problem with it, specifically those on the far right of politics. And if they have a problem with it, they can have a problem with it. Who cares? Like, people need to get over it. I just think this is my movie of the year, hands down. Don't care what else is coming. And I know that the Hamnet is meant to be quite good, and I know there are some good movies being released soon, but I can't see this being beaten by any other movie. I found it very strange that it had like such a big premiere in London, a premiere that I went to last week, and a premiere that was full of influencers, and he's not that kind of director. So I was very intrigued by the reasons behind that, and I think it's probably because they've it's a movie that's cost between 130 and 175 million, and Warner Brothers needs to make some money out of it. Is it going to make its money back? I don't even care, to be honest. I think obviously Warner's will care, but I feel like having someone like him just being able to sort of make movies and make his own movies, being like telling these really weird stories and without shackles, is what cinema is for. And if it means losing a few million, then so be it. If you love Paul Thomas Anderson, go watch this movie on its first day of release. Do not wait. It's DiCaprio is the best he's ever been. Like fantastic, brilliant. Like, yeah, I have no other adjective to add to this. I just thought it was such a fabulous movie. Like I said, if I see a better movie this year, I'd be very surprised.
Wowzers! So it's even better than Weapons. Fantastic. Well, I mean, yeah, I was wondering about that because it's been trailed for quite a long time, and I feel like despite him being a very particular director, you know, he is an auteur. He's not as odd. His films aren't quite as odd as some, like you know, Lanthimos or anything like that.
His filmmaking is very honest. He will make a film that you'd want to see, without pretension. Yeah? He loves popular cinema. That's what it is about him.
Yes. I mean, I think sometimes for me, I don't love all of his films. I think sometimes he does tip over into pretension. You know, we've already discussed Phantom Thread on a previous week.
Phantom Thread.
But there are others of his I do adore. But he has reached that status where, you know, his films are anticipated. And of course, you know, any DiCaprio film is highly anticipated. I think these days, you know, he's got to be, I think he's got to be the biggest star in Hollywood now, hasn't he? Really sort of undisputed.
Yeah.
It's certainly up for debate.
Tom Cruise and Leonardo DiCaprio, definitely. Leo has to be the second. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I won't deny Tom Cruise is a huge star, although his last couple of films have not performed well financially. But yeah, it's, I mean, as well, he's saying it's been a long time since Sean Penn did anything, you know, great or this good. Probably his last great performance was in the previous Paul Thomas Anderson film, Licorice Pizza, looking at his work. But yeah, you know, I'm still undecided about The Master. But I enjoyed Inherent Vice and Licorice Pizza, and There Will Be Blood. You know, that's just one of the greatest films ever made. I don't think there's any debate about that. And I really love Hard Eight. I've always enjoyed Hard Eight. I think that's a fabulous film. So no, this sounds thoroughly thrilling. And the trailer for it, it might be representing it, but it's kind of got a sort of romp feeling about it, which I think would sort of.
That's how it feels though while you're watching it. It's like it's just it's fun and it's funny. It's not comedy. And you know, I think all of his movies have that kind of thread of comedy in them anyway. So, like, I just remember watching Phantom Thread at press screening and just laughing so much that I had to go out because I just couldn't stop laughing. Because, like, I think people don't get Phantom Thread and think it's pretentious because it is such a good comedy. It's just such a brilliant observation of, but what he's done in Phantom Thread is basically try to emulate all those like mid-century movies, British sort of like kind of like society movies, and I think he did really well. And it's even the way that the film is filmed, like it's made, it harkens back to those kind of movies. And I just think he's such a brilliantly talented filmmaker, someone who genuinely loves film and genuinely is inspired by his fandom of movies as well. Yeah,
I certainly don't disagree with you there, and I will give Phantom Thread another go, which is isn't that noble of me? Fantastic. Well, that sounds definitely like well, my choice, and I think Linda's choice if we're spending our money this weekend at the box office.
Meet me in the foyer.
And now comes the moment you've all been dreading. So put the kettle on and settle in as once again it's Jawa's classic movie moment. And this week I lead you into the shady world of espionage and counter-espionage and delve into one of, if not my favourite genre of cinema, the political conspiracy thriller, as we take flight with 3 Days of the Condor.
This is the Major. This is Joe Turner. Identification? My name is Turner. I work for you. Now listen.
Identify yourself.
What is your designation? Condor. Something has happened. Section 9, Department 17. The section's been hit.
What level?
What level?
Level of damage.
Everybody. Dr. Lapp, Janice, Ray, Harold. Everybody is dead.
Are you damaged?
Damaged? No.
Are you armed? Identify the armament.
It's a .45 automatic. Will you guys bring me in, please? I'm not a field agent. I just read books.
This is the panic office. Section 917 may have been hit.
Hit confirmed.
What was the quality of work?
Clean, fast, first rate.
Except they overlooked one item. You say one of my people is still okay?
Condor, you know him?
No. This is Condor. Who's this?
Deputy Director Higgins, New York Center. I'm controlling now, Condor. Where are you?
How come I need a code name and you don't?
The head of your department just came here from D.C. He's going to bring you home.
I've never met him.
Don't worry. 2 years military service. Separated 961. Worked at Bell Labs, Communication Research College on the GI Bill.
This Condor isn't the man his file says he is.
Wait a minute. I don't...
Get in the car. Don't make a sound. Don't be dumb. Come on, hurry up. Get in.
I work for the CIA. I am not a spy.
Your assignment for today was to go out and kidnap a girl.
I'll need your help.
Have I ever denied you anything? I don't think you're going to live much longer.
Well, I may surprise you.
We have games. What if? How many men? What would it take?
7 people killed. And you play games.
And the other side does too.
Condor is an amateur. He's lost, unpredictable. He could fool a professional. Yes?
Do you believe the Condor is really an endangered species?
Include the Condor episode without any more noise. If company agents aren't enough, use freelance. Use whatever it requires, but end it.
Robert Redford and Faye Dunaway in danger and in love in 3 Days of the Condor.
Nice.
Now, this, I need to preface this. We will come back to Mr. Redford in the news. So this will be a review purely of the film. So, yeah, 3 Days of the Condor, made in 1975, American spy thriller directed by Sidney Pollack, who had an incredibly varied filmography, an incredibly varied output of films. His other work that I particularly like of his, where he worked again with Robert Redford, is 1985's Out of Africa, which is just a beautiful film. And then this film came the year preceding Redford, starring alongside Dustin Hoffman in another political conspiracy thriller, All the President's Men, where he worked with Dustin Hoffman, as I say, and came in an incredible run for star Faye Dunaway, as the previous year she had appeared in Chinatown, Towering Inferno, and The Four Musketeers, and then the following year to this, she would win the Oscar for her performance in Network. So, a stunning run for her. And this also stars Cliff Robertson and Max von Sydow. It's got a screenplay by Lorenzo Semple Jr. and David Raphael, and was based on the 1974 novel 6 Days of the Condor. So obviously it was edited down for the cinema to just 3 days, because that would be too long for anyone to concentrate on. Written by James Grady, who was an American writer and investigative journalist. And he worked in the post-Watergate era where he worked with muckraking investigative journalist Jack Anderson, which I think is fairly evident when you watch this film. So 3 Days with the Condor is set mainly in New York and Washington, based around the character of a bookish CIA researcher, Joe Turner. He's codenamed Condor and works in a building called the American Literary Historical Society in New York, which is actually a clandestine CIA office. Not that they tell you that for quite a while. So the staff members there, they examine books, magazines, newspapers from around the world and compare them to actual operations to find ideas and also to find out if other nations are sort of sharing coded messages about operations that the American intelligence agencies are taking part in. Then one day, Turner, Robert Redford's character, goes out to get the lunch for the office, and being the young rebel he is, he leaves through the back door because he doesn't follow protocol, and it's raining outside anyway, so he wants to take a shortcut to the cafe. And whilst he's away, a team of armed men break in and kill everybody in the office, and he returns to a scene of carnage and all of his colleagues dead. He then goes on the run to try and find out who's responsible, understand what's happened, and of course, clear his own name. So you got a little bit of a Hitchcock taste in there as well. The film was nominated for the Academy Award for Best Editing, which it won, and also received the Mystery Writers of America Award that year. It stars, as I say, Robert Redford, Faye Dunaway, Cliff Robertson, and Max von Sydow. Max von Sydow, of course, turning in one of his classic sinister performances. He just has a touch of class to everything he's in. And it's I don't know if I've mentioned this. I've added it to my list of non-Christmassy Christmas movies because it is set at Christmas, but not what one would consider a Christmas film. But I do like to watch those around Christmas time. What else have you got? Batman Returns, The Poseidon Adventure, and others like that. There's virtually no soundtrack on the film at all. There's a sort of funky opening titles music, and a little bit comes back in when he's on the run later on. But basically, it's a sort of silence throughout the film, and it's quite a sort of slow-moving adult film. It feels like a mature, intelligent piece of filmmaking, and doesn't use needle drops throughout. For example, I rewatched American Hustle this week, and that is an enjoyable film, but it really feels like one of those modern films which just sort of bangs, a bit like Ocean's 11, which I also rewatched this week. Just bang in a sort of great tune, so you really feel like you're enjoying yourself and kind of distracts you from the quality of the film you're actually watching. Redford is, as he always was, young, well, not always young, but gorgeous, charming, intelligent, athletic. As I say, you can tell he's a bit of a rebel in this because he's late for work every day. He rides into work on a little motorized scooter, which he chains up outside. He doesn't follow the rules. He doesn't call out a mechanic to fix the machines and the computers in the office. He does it himself. He doesn't follow protocol on the security of the building. He just comes and goes as he pleases. And he likes to read comic books like Dick Tracy. He's sort of a young rebel, and that actually is the reason he survives the hit on the office. Then Dunaway doesn't actually appear till about halfway through the film, and she's brilliant. She gives some real sass to Redford, who kidnaps her to find a way of escaping his pursuers, holds her hostage, takes her back to her flat for the night, so he's got somewhere to stay. And it leads to a slightly implausible romance moment, which is mentioned in the film Out of Sight, the George Clooney, Jennifer Lopez film, which is another great film.
Soderbergh, yeah.
Of course, yes. They discuss the romantic subplot in the film and say how dubious it is. And I have to agree that, he's kidnapped her at gunpoint, taken her back to her place and tied her up. And you think, and then all of a sudden they're having this sort of romantic tryst, and you think, really? But then you look at it and go, well, it is Robert Redford, and you sort of flip it over and go, really? Well, it is Faye Dunaway. So you just suspend your disbelief and go with it. It's just a movie moment, and but again, it does. It's as the maturity of the film doesn't break because they don't have a happy ending. You know, they work together, but it does lead to a brilliant line that Faye Dunaway absolutely sells fantastically, where they part ways for a bit, and then they actually come back together, and she carries on helping him, and Redford expresses surprise and gratitude that she has come back, and she just, she says to him, "Well, you can always depend on the old spy fucker." Uh, it's just such a great line, and she made me laugh out loud because I'd forgotten it, and she delivers it real venom because she sort of feels this sort of, I don't know, the sort of shame that she's had this romantic moment with him. Um, it's one of, I would say it's one of Max von Sydow's definitive roles as this creepy, sinister, uh, is he a CIA agent? Is he not? Who knows? Because we're dealing in the world of spy rings within spy rings. Um, yeah, he's absolutely fantastic, and the final scene he has with Redford is wonderful. They have this long dialogue scene that's just brilliant. As I say, watching it, you'd think this has got to be written by a former CIA agent or an investigative journalist, and the latter is true. Um, and as I said as well, it is quite slow paced, but that's of the time, really. You know, it's like Clute or All the President's Men, The Parallax View. You know, they're not like films of the next decade where there's sort of action scene after action scene after action scene. But I love it. They're so absorbing. I'd say probably Parallax View is the most action-packed of those films, and it is my favourite. But I do love these slower ones. It's got an 87% rating on Rotten Tomatoes, and it got Roger Ebert said that it's a well-made thriller, tense and involving, and the scary thing in these months after Watergate is that it's all too believable. Whereas John Simon wrote about how the book had been rewritten for the film, said that the action's been relocated to from Sleepy Washington to New York. All the names have been changed. The plot has been vastly overcomplicated, is of lesser interest than a straight genre film, has been overloaded with an elegy of private, political, and finally cosmic pessimism, a kind of national, if not metaphysical, guilt film to enchant the disenchanted. Okay, I'm disenchanted, but it's a great movie. You know, I think that's an incredibly harsh review. People at the time said that it had been inspired by a genuine CIA scandal called the Family Jewels scandal, which came to light the same year. But Pollock explained that the film had been in production for ages, and he just made a thriller. He and Redford had never made one, and that's what they wanted to do. It had a real world influence, as according to Soviet intelligence officer Sergei Trechikov, the fictional clandestine office shown that Redford works in actually convinced KGB officials to establish an equivalent office in Moscow to do the same thing in reality. And interesting aside, Sidney Pollock actually took a Danish TV station called Danmarks Radio to court for showing it in a pan and scan format. And he lost actually because he doesn't own the rights to 3 Days of the Condor. But it's interesting because that's something that I think happens less and less these days. It was quite common in the 90s, early 2000s that you'd see a film on TV which had been pan and scanned to fit the 4:3 ratio. I remember Pulp Fiction being shown in it, and it made no sense whatsoever because you'd lost half the image. But yeah, as I say, he lost that case. It inspired Redford's casting in Captain America: The Winter Soldier, as the Russo brothers were inspired by this film to write a sort of conspiracy political thriller with Captain America and cast Robert Redford in it. Although, you know, I still think that's a slightly overrated film, The Winter Soldier. And there's a famous line in the film where Redford says, "You think getting caught in a lie is the same thing as telling the truth," which Pollock has actually reused in his other films like Tootsie, The Firm, and The Interpreter. So Yeah, as I say, it's. I think it's a fairly well-known film, although perhaps not one of Redford's most famous performances from his fantastic filmography. But if you haven't seen it, no need to set aside 3 days, just 118 minutes will do. And then you can enjoy entering the arena of American espionage with one of Hollywood's great leading men, who we'll discuss more in our movie news in a moment.
Fabulous.
Yeah, it's a wonderful film.
Not seen it in a very, very long time. So
Yeah, I think I've watched it about 3 times in the last year. I love
nice.
that.
Meet me in the foyer.
Right, so let's do our movie news this week. And according to director Dan Trachtenberg, Predator Badlands isn't a full Alien vs Predator film, as the trailer got Alien and Predator fans very excited when they realised that Elle Fanning's character was an android who'd been made by Weyland-Yutani. But apparently there'll be no xenomorph in this film, and you'll have to wait a little bit longer for a full-on Alien vs Predator 3. Which, frankly, after Alien vs Predator 1 and 2, I'm happy to keep waiting. But what else do we have? We have a trailer for the first Star Wars movie in 7 years, as The Mandalorian and Grogu is due for release in May 2026.
I'm excited for that.
Okay, I haven't seen any of the TV series of Mandalorian.
Oh, really? Oh, it's so good.
Okay.
It's so good.
Might give that a go. Although, you know, as I say, I've blotted my copybook before by admitting I'm not a big Star Wars fan.
Fair enough.
Catherine Bigelow's new movie, A House of Dynamite, asks the question, how vulnerable are we really, as a nuclear missile is launched on the US, triggering a chain of events, and that's due to hit cinemas October 3rd. And I think that's her first film in something like 8 years, staggeringly. We have a trailer for Paul Feig's new film, the psychological thriller The Housemaid, starring Sydney Sweeney and Amanda Seyfried.
Hi, Millie. Hi, Mrs. Winchester. Oh, please call me Nina. Come on in.
So why do you want this job?
I just really enjoy being a housemaid. For the right families, of course.
You know this is a live-in position, right?
Ta-da! This is your room.
What do you think?
It's perfect.
Okay, good.
I have good judgment.
So would you like the grand tour?
I know I have good taste.
See what you're getting yourself into? The job is mostly cleaning, organizing, some light cooking.
Everyone makes mistakes.
Hello?
Millie's gonna be living with us.
She's gonna live with us.
Andrew, I told you that. She'd be part of the family. I want you to feel safe here.
I do.
Theodore. You're a lifesaver. I don't know what I'd do without you. Millie.
What if the devil's inside you?
I can't lose it. I do not want to go back.
All I'm asking, baby.
I have a really good feeling about this, Millie.
Me too.
Okay, I'll be in touch.
Due to hit cinemas on Boxing.
I have read the book. We'll talk about it after you've read what you've said.
I'm just surprised he's doing a non-comedy, a sort of straight-up thriller. But
look, the way things are at the moment. If a book sells over 1 million copies, wait for the movie to be made. And I have no problem with the book because it was very popular. And I was very intrigued by it. It's not the kind of book I normally would read. I'm just very choosy about the literature I want to give my time to. But I have to admit that this was very entertaining and quite sort of grabbing. But then the writer Frida, I can't remember her second name. She's gone on to make write more books about said housemaid, and they all sound exactly the same. It's very formulaic, and it's like she's sort of it's a formula that works, so let's repeat it 1 million times. And I can just see this becoming one of those franchises that we're never going to be shot off. So I'm not that excited about it.
Fair enough. Yeah, because you saying that about big selling books reminds me of Girl on the Train. That was one that was rushed into cinemas straight after that, wasn't it?
That wasn't too bad. I kind of like that. I like a good, like a psychological thriller. I thought the hook was quite good. The Girl on the Train, or like they're all trying to sort of emulate Gone Girl, obviously.
Yeah. Yes, cool.
I did not mind Girl on the Train, and I thought it was I thought the movie wasn't too bad either, to be honest.
Yeah, it was all right. What have we got? Martin Scorsese and the One Thing After Another star Leonardo DiCaprio have added another project to their pile that already includes The Devil in the White City, The Wager, Roosevelt, and a Hawaiian crime drama starring Dwayne Johnson, as they're now working on a ghost story called What Happens at Night, also starring Jennifer Lawrence, which is due to start filming in January.
Oh, brilliant. I love Jennifer Lawrence. The more movies she's in, the better it is for everyone.
Absolutely.
She's a fantastic actress. There's a lot of like naysayers about her, but
really?
she's genuinely a very good actress.
She's brilliant. Yeah, absolutely fantastic. I was really surprised to hear that. Well, why should I be surprised? There's lots of crazy people on the internet. We have a trailer for Anaconda reboot starring Jack Black and Paul Rudd.
And 5, 4, 3, 2. You don't say the last. It's okay. Anaconda. I don't want to wait, man.
Doug, what are you talking about?
Let's do it. Let's reboot Anaconda.
Yes.
Wait.
What?
This is gonna be the adventure of a lifetime. We've dreamed of making this movie ever since we were kids.
What does it cost to get this thing made?
$2.5 million.
We've approved a loan for up to $9,400.
Yes.
We're gonna shoot it indie style. Run and gun.
We need a riverboat, a script, a snake handler, and a real snake.
Claire, you and I will star in it.
I love you, Derek.
Kenny, you shoot it.
Here we go.
Doug, you direct.
action! Put your face right up next to the snake.
No.
Bro!
Maybe it'll be okay.
Cutting. This is Anaconda. And we no longer have a snake for our snake movie. We have to go out in the jungle and find another one.
What is that?
Oh my.
My anaconda! We're in the middle of the jungle and we are being hunted! My anaconda! Now we die! My anaconda! It's okay, you're safe, I'm here! Holy! My anaconda! Keep rolling! Anaconda don't want none unless you...
He's dead.
Oh no. What are we gonna do? What if we use Doug as bait to get back to the boat?
That's a really smart idea.
Doug would have wanted this.
I'm not sure he would have wanted this.
Oh, look at the snake. He's alive.
I thought you checked his pulse! I did! Doug! He's right behind you! What the hell is on my back? It's a long story! Run!
Not sure when that's out, but
I won't be watching that.
I'm tempted. I love those two guys. No matter
No,
how
I
bad
love them,
film.
but I don't know.
Let's see.
If it's stupid crawlies, I can't do.
Oh, is it? Oh, right. Well, you're in my camp then. Yeah, definitely. What arachnophobia? No.
Yeah, I like
Can't do
it.
it.
I
Can't do
hate
it.
snakes. I hate anything to do with like slithering creatures. Ugh.
And as I alluded to before, the biggest news since we last met is sadly a genuine icon of cinema has left us. Those of you who followed us for a while might be aware that I fear my watching of classic movies somehow causes a sort of cosmic realignment, which leads to the star of my night's movie being shuffled off this mortal coil. The news that Gene Hackman had passed earlier in the year was preceded by my watching him in Extreme Measures and Night Moves just the day before. And the passing of Donald Sutherland was preceded by my watching Backdraft the night before that news broke. So
Do not watch anything with Robert De Niro because I will stop. I will put a stop to this show.
I know. I'm terrified to watch anything with Michael Caine or Clint Eastwood in it.
I allow Michael Caine.
No,
just not De Niro.
Well, all I can say is I apologise as I sat down to watch my classic movie in preparation for this show, and the very next day, Robert Redford passed at the age of 89. So my apologies. I don't think it was my fault, but
Oh no, it was definitely your fault. Definitely.
So I mean, to say that Redford is one of Hollywood's biggest stars and a man who leaves a legacy far outreaching most people is that that even that sells him short.
So many people like comparison. It's like, oh, he's what Brad Pitt is to some people now. It's so beyond Brad Pitt. I think Brad Pitt is okay, and I don't think he's a fantastic actor, and I like him and all that. Robert Redford was a phenomenon. He was a good-looking, a really beautiful film actor who was also a good person. All the stuff that he's done with being with Sundance Film Festival, with being a voice for those who don't have any rights, for just a magnificent, like a powerhouse, like fantastic actor, and just a wonderful person, really, to boot, and one of the best looking people in cinema history, really, when you think about it.
Yeah, no, absolutely. I mean, it's a stunning looking man and a brilliant actor. I mean, he was the first performer since Bing Crosby in 1946 to have 3 films in the year's top 10 grossing titles. He was voted Hollywood's top box office star every year from 74 to 76. He won the Best Actor the Best BAFTA award for Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid. He won the Best Director Oscar for Ordinary People. He directed 9 feature films and starred in some of the most renowned films in history. probably starting with his breakout role in Barefoot in the Park in 67, then Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid in 69. Absolutely. The Sting, 73. 3 Days of the Condor, that you'll have just heard of me review in 75. All the President's Men in 76. Bridge Too Far in 77. Brubaker in 1980. The Natural in 84. Out of Africa in 85. Sneakers in 92, which I love. Indecent Proposal in 93, which I do not love. The Last Castle in 2001. All Is Lost in 2013.
Oh,
Captain
great
America.
movie. All Is
Brilliant,
Lost.
isn't it?
Great movie. Fabulous movie.
Winter Soldier in 2014 and The Old Man and the Gun in 2019.
Oh, God, forgot about that. Such a brilliant caper, that.
Yeah, absolutely. With no, his name's not going to come back to me, so I'll just move on. Tom Waits, that's it, with Tom Waits. And a brief cameo in the Avengers Endgame in 2019, which turned out to be his last performance. And those are just my highlights from his acting career. But as Linda did mention, surely his biggest legacy is the establishment of the Sundance Film Festival. He bought the Sundance Ranch with proceeds from Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid and Downhill Racer. He named the area after his character in Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, and then established the festival, which grew to become the country's largest independent film festival and one of the biggest and most important in the world. And it's been crucial in giving breaks to filmmakers such as Kevin Smith, Robert Rodriguez, Quentin Tarantino, David O. Russell, Paul Thomas Anderson again, Steven Soderbergh again, Darren Aronofsky, and Damien Chazelle, and gave us films such as American Psycho, The Blair Witch Project, Reservoir Dogs, Little Miss Sunshine, Donnie Darko, Moon, Clerks, Napoleon Dynamite, and Whiplash. I mean, even if they don't ever do another Sundance Film Festival, which I think they surely will.
Oh no, they are doing them, but they're moving from what's it called? From
in Utah, isn't it?
Utah to a different place. I can't remember where.
Right. But I mean, even if it were to stop, that impact, that influence would just be felt for generations through film. You know, it's an incredible, and you know, he championed independent cinema. He was a star, but he hated being cast for his looks. He wanted to be cast for his acting. He was an incredibly generous actor. He allowed other people to star in the films alongside him, and he had a great talent. And you know, he had, as you said, he had other interests outside of film in environmental issues. He had particularly harsh words to say about a certain Tangerine Wally in the White House, and just an absolute legend and a wonderful man. So,
and we can't forget that the paying homage to the place of birth of the Sundance Film Festival, which was originally inhabited by First Nations, you know, and Native Americans, who had their, you know, lands basically stolen of them. So Sundance has had for a very long time this thing where before every screening of every movie, there are thanks that are given to local tribes, which is actually quite important. And I think loads of other festivals in America have started doing that as well. So yeah, quite good.
Wonderful man. So he will of course be missed, but we still have an incredible filmography of his that will last forever. So yeah, that's Robert Redford. Goodbye, and yeah, travel well.
Yeah.
And that, to end on a slightly sad note, but you know, sweet and sour, that is it for another episode of Meet Me in the Foyer. It's time to fly and leave the nest once again for another week, until you can return to Meet Me in the Foyer again and meet Linda, who we must say a huge thank you to for another excellent selection of films and great reviews. And she'll be back next week to give us a bird's eye view on new releases. So don't be late for our next episode. We release from its cage next Friday, and if you subscribe to our Patreon, like the early bird who gets the worm, you'll find it nesting in your feed before anyone else. Plus, you'll be able to enjoy our specials and the archive of all our reviews if you sign up. So take care out there on the winds of chance. Until next time, thank you, Linda. You can now strut like a peacock because you are wonderful as always. And we say goodbye.
Goodbye. Good night.
Meet me in the foyer.